Know-It-All listeners, thank you for joining us for another week of the Know-It-All podcast. Big G, what's happening, man?
What's happening, Tate, man? I'm just happy to be in the land of the living. And even more so, man, it's time for the football season. So let's get it in.
Football season. You're exactly right. But before we get into that, let's get into this. Big G, what's up, man? We got a lot of stuff to talk about today. The weekend sports. We got college football. We're gonna chop it about some NFL. Ma's not here this week. He's feeling under the weather, but we expect him back next week. It's going around.
Yeah.
I was on the BTSC podcast with Brian Anthony Davis this morning. He's feeling under the weather too, but he had been out a little bit. Quite a few days this week. He was here this morning, but he still was feeling bad. So, we hope to have Mod back next week. But until then, for today, me and Big G gonna let you know what we know.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think we're gonna handle it well, man. But all my hopes and prayers is always with my family, extended family, and all whatever else. And I'm just telling everybody, just be as safe as you possibly can. Versus taking a stance on whether what's right and what's not. Let's just be as careful as we possibly can and protect yourself. Just going back to my Wu-Tang days, protect your neck, baby. You got to watch out for yourself, man, at all times.
Man, I know a lot of y'all like Wu-Tang. I wasn't ever a big fan of the Wu-Tang, man.
Oh, yeah. I thought at one point I was going to be a member of the Wu-Tang, man. We have a cousin, me and Kev have a light cousin, and his name's Quay. We called him the Quizzer. He was a definite member of the Tang, man. So yeah, that's back in the day, loving the Wu-Tangers forever, man.
But yeah, man. So let's get started. What we're gonna talk about today. I know, man. Isn't it great just to have college football back?
Man, the fans in the stands, man. I know we're in a pandemic, but it was something about that energy that was coming off with the fans in the stands, and being able to flip through the channels and. There was just so many games. I was like on information overload. It almost made me want to go to sleep, man. There was just so much information, man, out there, man. And everybody was just all the games was just outstanding. If you watched the scrub game that was on, Friday night all the way to, tonight, we're going to get the powerful ND, play with against Florida State. So it ain't over with. Yeah, it ain't over. We got 2 more games to go. But I'm loving it right now.
Who's the second game? Notre Dame, Florida State. I know. What, another game tonight?
Nah, on Monday night we got Louisville and Ole Miss, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we got two games to go. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead and let you take the lead with this one, man, because you much more college football averse than myself. I know what I know, but you know a lot more as far as this goes, Big G. We know overall. We know I know a lot more. But college football, you the guy.
It's debatable, but this ain't the time and the place and the energy for it right now. Right now, we got to talk about. Yeah, right now we're going.
I want to know it all, listeners, to know which one of us really know it all. So
yeah, for sure. But the college football yesterday, man, was just really from Thursday night all the way to yesterday night, man. It was just like overwhelmingly outstanding. There was some teams that we thought. There was a couple bold predictions I was talking about with Clemson and North Carolina, and we found out real quick what Clemson and North Carolina was really about as a whole. Ma said he know it all. Ma said he know it all though too.
That joker ain't here with us, but he's somewhere watching, bumping his gums. I see.
For sure, man. He think he'll know it all too. But yeah, we found out fast, man. First thing that really stood out in my mind, man, was the Alabama Crimson Tide, man. I mean, you know, what do they have going? I mean, I'm a diehard, as y'all can see, and Tate is too, man. We diehard Buckeyes, man, but them Crimson Tiders, man, there's something in the water down there, man. I don't know what they got going on. Now, they notoriously stealing players, like, you know, they done figured out the formula for the Buckeyes because they done stole one of our receivers that couldn't make the starting lineup, and that boy looked all world yesterday.
Yeah, like
you know,
a
with them.
95-yard touchdown catch us.
Yeah, killed him. But the issue, man, is that, you know, that they reload at the most pivotal positions, which is always that quarterback and which is always that free safety, man. They've reloaded, and I'm telling you right now, I mean, I might be off, but it's going to be hard to beat them rascals, man. It's going to be hard. I think there's some teams that's going to definitely give them some flavor, but it's going to be hard to beat them.
I tell you, man, Alabama looked really good. I mean, I couldn't even watch that whole game just because how they was making Miami, the U, look like the JV team.
Yeah.
But that Bryce Young looked really good. He's at the Alabama all-time record for first-time start.
Yeah.
You know, and you're right, Ma. They do reload. They do reload.
Yeah.
But I mean, so I mean, and then just to do reload is a good word because they just fill in whatever they lose with new recruits every year, new 5-star blue chip players. So that's what they do. That's the formula. And Nick Saban is a top 5 coach in across all sports, not just football, across all sports. So you know, big ups, big respect to Nick Saban. Alabama looks like they have another great team this year. But, you know, from my perspective, Big G, I tell you who really surprised me. What was the best game so far this weekend. The best game to me was Penn State, Wisconsin.
Oh, man, it was an outstanding game.
That was a banger.
Yeah, outstanding game. You know, if I got a list of players and teams, you know, that just did outstanding, Penn State definitely makes the list. I had 5 outstanding or big winners, you know, for the weekend. My big winners for the weekend was Penn State, UCLA, Iowa, Virginia Tech, and Texas. Those are my 5.
You stole my thunder there because I was super impressed with UCLA.
Yeah, those 5.
They look good.
Yeah, hey, I'm gonna just be honest, man. If the Heisman was today, Dorian Thompson-Robinson would be sitting in the audience with the top 3 or 4 guys, the quarterback for UCLA. This kid, he's got 2 games under his belt. Now, they got a challenge next week against Fresno State, so they better strap up and show up because Fresno gave Oregon a run, you know. But you know, in that game, Oregon
kind of fell off a little bit when Thibodeau got hurt.
Thibodeau, yeah.
Their number 1 prospect. He's projected to be the number 1 player picked in the NFL draft next year. Yeah. But he went out with a sprained ankle in the second quarter before he had forced a fumble, had a sack. The game was Oregon was kind of controlling the game up until he got hurt. Then when he got hurt, I think they was 1 kind of worried about him, and 2 just the level of play he brings on the field. They were missing that too. So you know, I think if he had to stay healthy in that game, I think Oregon probably would have controlled it. But you know, you never know. That's why they play the games.
Yeah, for sure, and that's definitely why they played with that late game with UCLA and LSU. Man, I'm telling you, it has been a long time since I seen an SEC team get manhandled the way LSU got manhandled against UCLA. UCLA did anything that they wanted to do to LSU at any time or any point during the game. They ran for all kind of yards. That quarterback threw for almost 303 touchdowns, and he ran for a touchdown. I mean, UCLA looked like, for real, looked like they could be a potential college football playoff team for last night.
They look like it because they're in the Pac-12, and some decent teams in the Pac-12. You got to get through USC. You got to get through. Washington was upset too. They lost to Montana.
Sure did.
And they were ranked number 20. I like Arizona State. I like what Herm Edwards is doing there as far as the Pac-12 teams. But I think the way UCLA looked yesterday against LSU, they could definitely take that conference. They could definitely take that conference. And coach, LSU's coach.
Ed Orgeron.
Coach O. Yeah, Eddie. He won a national championship 2 years ago. He could be on the hot seat already too, though.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely could be on the hot seat, out of there because, I mean, let's just say it. I'm just going to be honest. That LSU team that won the national championship a few years ago might have been the most talented offensive team we've ever seen in college football. But the issue is, as far as sustainability, you have to be able to not just be able to coach the talent you have. You have to be able to, like we saying, like Nick Saban, like Ryan Day, like Dabo Swinney, and we're going to get to him in a second. You got to be able to reload and compete every year because one championship or one run might sustain you for a year or two. But when you start getting to year 3, 4, and 5, and if you don't have the players, man, and you play national championship caliber teams on national stage, if you get embarrassed, man, your coaching future is on the line. And that's pretty much what happened to LSU last night. They got embarrassed, man.
Right.
So, and I'm gonna say the same thing with and Tate, let me ask you this question, man. And this is a question that's going around with a lot of people that I've talked to over the last 24 hours. Is it that Alabama is that good, or was Miami just that overrated? Let me hear your take on that, man.
I think it's somewhere in the middle, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I don't think Alabama's overrated. I think they're a very good football team. I think Miami may have been the one that's a little bit overrated. I mean, they got their quarterback, De'Aaron, whatever his name is, coming back from injury. He's like 8 months back from a torn ACL. This is his first football since then. And to come in and have to play against Alabama. Yeah. I mean, so I really think it's, like I said, somewhere in the middle. Alabama's really good. Maybe not as good as Miami made them look, but Miami's not as good as some people thought they were going to be.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's what I said, and going back to my list of big winners, I think, UCLA definitely and Alabama looking real good. But let's talk about a couple of teams we touched the surface with Penn State, but let's talk about Penn State, Iowa, Vodtech, and Texas. What you think about Penn State?
Man, Penn State looked really good, man. I mean, they look really good. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with their defense, man. Yeah. I mean, they held Wisconsin. They had 3 interceptions, I believe. Plenty of pressure on Wisconsin's quarterback, Mertz.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think James Franklin has a good team this year. So I look for Penn State to challenge Ohio State in the Big Ten East.
Yeah, Maz said the parity in college football, Alabama is that good. Also, teams like Tulsa are good teams, and Cincinnati is good. I mean, we're going to get to the Bearcats here in a minute, but I got some feelings about that. But definitely, I think Penn State going into Wisconsin, man, and literally playing their brand of football, smash mouth football in your face. We're going to play defense on you. Their linebacker play, being able to blitz the quarterback was unreal. I don't know the kid that's number one. The number one defensive back is number one, but that kid looks like he's going to be all conference. And Joey Porter's son, Junior, is that cornerback is fire, man.
Hey, man, I tell you what, the number 13 got ejected yesterday. I think college football got to do something with this targeting rule, man. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it's not like some of these kids or some of these hits are flagrant. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just playing football, and it a lot of times when you watch something in replay and look at it in slow motion, it looks worse than what it was. Yeah. So I think I understand the rule. I understand making it a personal foul, but to eject these young student athletes from the game because of something like that, and it could affect their entire team because of it, I don't think it's fair.
I feel the move as far as, you got to be able to protect the players and safety protocol and all whatever else. However, like you said, a lot of times it's bang, bang plays. And that ejection of number 13, that was not like he led with his helmet to hurt somebody. That wasn't. It was just a bang, bang play. The guy dropped his head at the same time. And, stuff happens. So, I mean, I understand it's football. I understand people can get hurt. They can get injured and be out forever. But, some of those targeting rules, I like this. Let's just say this, Tate. I like the spirit of the rule, but I don't necessarily like the follow through of the rule. Because like you said, when you go back and you start watching in a slow-mo and they're going frame by frame and little by little, yeah, it looks horrible. But in the long run, man, it's not as bad as what people think, man. And I will say this. Safety protocol now, especially like with the helmets and all the equipment and stuff they have, these kids are more protected now than they've ever been. You know, yeah, they're bigger, faster, stronger, but the equipment that they have, man, is just a lot better, man. So some of that stuff, you just got to let it ride, man. You know, but so we talked about Penn State, Wisconsin, bad loss for you. How about them Iowa Hawkeyes, man, and that thumping that they put on them boys against Indiana, man?
I mean, that I kind of put that at the back of my mind, man, because I was high on Indiana as far as in the Big Ten. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, they came out. Michael Penix Jr. did not like he was ready to play. Threw 3 interceptions, 2 pick sixes.
Yeah.
Iowa controlled the game from start to finish. Iowa looked really good. They look really good. They can challenge. Yeah. They could challenge in the. I can see them coming out the Big Ten West the way Wisconsin lost. So I mean, it'll come down to that game between them and Wisconsin. Because they already got the head-to-head against Indiana, who's the other strong team on that side. Yeah. So whenever they play Wisconsin, that's going to be for something. But, you know, they have a game next week, a banger against Iowa State, who's ranked like 7 or 8. So that should I can see Iowa moving up to like 12 this week. So that'll be a good matchup. It's an in-state rivalry. That'll make it even more intense.
Yeah.
I mean, so the loser of that game, this game won't hurt them so much because they're losing to another ranked team and an out-of-conference team. Yeah. So whichever one lose this game, if they win out, they'll be okay. But this Iowa State game should be a really good game.
Yeah, I think I agree somewhat, but I think Iowa State has more to lose than Iowa does. I think Iowa State is more or less fighting for their conference. You know, a lot of people pick them to be, you know, preseason conference winners of the Big 12. So Iowa State's got to show up. And I will say this. I watched about a quarter of that University of Northern Iowa and Iowa State game. Iowa State looked horrible. They looked horrible.
I figured they had to. The score I saw, I didn't see any of the game, but I saw the ending score. But that's what I'm saying, Big G. Just the fact that they're picked to win their conference, this game has no effect on the outcome of their conference.
Yeah, for sure.
If they lose this game, but they beat Oklahoma and they beat Texas, they'll be okay.
Yeah, you know, but we're talking about, you know, I guess those are teams that could sneak in the college football playoff. You know, so to sneak in the playoff, you got to have everything go right. So you can't afford to lose or drop anything, because if you do, like Indiana, like at this point, I mean, if they run the table, could they realistically get in the college football playoff? Yeah, if they whooped Ohio State, if everything fell right. But for them to lose a game like how they lost, you're going to see them drop from probably number 12 to, if they stay in the top 25, they'll be 24, 25. That's what I'm saying.
No, they was already – that game yesterday was like 18-19. I think Indiana was like 18.
Yeah, I think they might be out of here.
They could easily be out of here.
Yeah. So big loser for Indiana, because the expectation for them was definitely going to be up there, right? Next team, man, I want to holler at about as far as college football was concerned is Vatech Hokies, man. I mean, North Carolina, I said that North Carolina was going to make some noise this year. I thought that Mac Brown had recruited all the positions. He definitely across the board had one of the best recruiting classes in the nation, you know. And for them boys to show up against North Carolina, to show up and lay an egg like they laid, when I'm talking about they put it on Sam Howell, they put it on him, man. So what you think, Tate?
I'm just going to say, man, we did our college football preview. I told you so. I told you. I mean, I didn't think North Carolina had it in them. I mean, since Sam Howell, the quarterback from North Carolina, probably played his, well, he gets a lot of time because it's early, so we won't say too much early, but he didn't look like a top 10 quarterback against Virginia Tech, and he's projected to be a top 10 pick, probably a top 3 quarterback, but top 10 pick. Yeah, and he didn't look like that. I knew that was going to be a tough game. They were on the road in Blacksburg, Virginia. Is always a tough place to play. I mean, for Virginia Tech, it's always a solid team. Even when they're not really super good, they're solid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
That welcome to the Sandman was no joke, man. If you saw the opening and that Monty Crew, welcome to this man, that whole stadium was shaking, man.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. That was Friday night. I was out celebrating my birthday, which was the day before Friday night. So
yeah, happy birthday to you from, and we always done celebrate it, but yes, definitely happy birthday to you, Tate.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm an old dude now, man.
Yeah, we set it off camera, folks. 10 years went by real fast, man.
Real fast.
We're approaching that 5-0, man. So here we go. But anyway, that VodTech, man, I'll say this, and this is just, when I start talking about big winners and losers, I'm gonna say some stuff about who lost. And I think the ACC as a whole took a thumping over the weekend for their ability to be able to produce a team into the Final Four for the playoff. But we'll get to that. But VodTech showed me that it's going to be a dogfight for their Coastal Conference side of this year, because North Carolina and Clemson don't play each other in the regular season. So VodTech already has basically got a 2-game lead because they done already popped the team that was picked to win the Coastal Division. So, and VodTech, and for the first time in a while, I want to say maybe since Logan Thomas, they got a legit quarterback, man. VodTech's quarterback can play. And, I watched that kid. I was like, man, this guy, he can play. But what I will say about North Carolina, it proves how much of a gap is between like a program like North Carolina and programs like Ohio State, like Alabama, that how we can just reload. North Carolina lost a considerable amount of kids to the pros last year. A couple of great running backs, couple good wide receiver, couple offensive linemen, couple of defensive players, all went to the league. And it's obvious, you can recruit and be a 4 and 5 star, but it don't matter till them lights come on. And when them lights came on, they showed that they definitely was not ready, man. What you think?
That's just it, Big G. You have to infuse your program with that talent. So they lost all those players last year. Mac Brown been back about 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
So he's just getting his recruits in there. So you have to have that sustainability. You have to have good recruiting class on top of good recruiting class. You have to stack them, and then you don't see the fall off as much. As it is now, 12 guys out the door in the NFL. You got these little young freshmen and sophomore in there that really haven't established themselves yet, and it's tough. But when those guys get to be juniors and seniors, and you got more people coming in behind them that are 5-star blue chip recruits, then you start seeing the sustainability of a program.
Right. And I think this might be the gap year for North Carolina. I'm not saying that Mac Brown can't do it, but this definitely the fall off gap year. They got the quarterback, but the positions around them, and you could be all world, man, but the positions around you got to be righteous too, man, in order to win, especially now more than ever in college football. Right. Now my last big winner, man, is, and I hate to say this, man, y'all, because I know Mod is just somewhere smiling ear to ear, man. Is them Texas Longhorns, man. I watched the game, and for all the Longhorn fans out there, I think y'all might have solved a few things with this new coach, man. You look surprisingly better than what I assumed. I think that quarterback that's playing for Texas is the real deal, and I think that Robinson kid that's playing running back, he definitely is in the top 3 for the Heisman moving forward, man. I mean, that kid can play. What you think, Tate?
I think Texas looked good. Bijan Robinson looked really good. He's probably a top 2 or 3 running back in college football. He still can be number 1. If he keeps having games like that yesterday, he had 100 rushing yards, like 75 receiving yards, a touchdown.
Yeah.
He carried the team. I didn't know a whole bunch going into the game about Louisiana. I saw where they were ranked.
Yeah.
I think they were ranked like 22 or something like that. They were in the top 25, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But so I didn't know about the stiffness of the test they'd be having. Yeah. Texas, as far as Louisiana. Yeah. But they did what they had to do. The thing about Texas is next week they play Arkansas, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's their next game.
They play Arkansas, so they play SEC school. That should be another nice test. Bijan Robinson, Stud might be a strong word, man, but I
Yeah,
know it's big. Let's just say this: he's no Travion Henderson.
yeah. Oh my God. I mean, we're going to talk about big winners here in a minute, man. But I'm trying to save space and room to talk about them Buckeyes, boy. But man, there's some things to say about them.
Hook them horns. However they do it, man. I don't know about that Texas stuff, but they look good.
Yeah. For sure. I think
I was impressed with the quarterback. What's his name? Card.
Yeah. For y'all that don't know, Austin Card was Garrett Wilson's high school quarterback. So, and he comes from a long line and tradition of Lake Travis kids, man, like we're talking about where Baker Mayfield played high school football at. So, Card looked like and let me just say this about the 40 acres, man, for all the Longhorn fans out there, right? Anytime they've solved the quarterback position, Texas has the potential to be a very good team. And I think for the first time, maybe, and this is a big maybe, since Colt McCoy, they have a legitimate quarterback under center. I think for the first time.
You didn't like Sam Ehlinger?
Oh, he's horrible.
I like him. He on a roster in the league.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about like a legit, could play in the NFL starting quarterback, legit. It's been a long time since Colt McCoy was a good quarterback. He just didn't get his chance in the league. And everybody knows how I feel about Vince Young, man. Maud said Hudson Card was a receiver as a sophomore in high school when he switched to quarterback, and he was a first-team All-State quarterback 2 times, which is very true. I mean, like I said, him and Garrett played in the same squad,
First team All-State is big in Texas. I respect that.
Yeah, but let's be perfectly clear since we're talking about it. He's not Quentin Ewers, and we're going to get to that conversation as well. That's that 5-star all-world quarterback that's sitting in Columbus, Ohio, from down there in Texas, man. He's not Quentin Ewers.
Sitting in Columbus, Ohio on the 4th string.
Yeah, but he got to, like I said, we're going to save room for the Buckeyes. He got to sit for now. But I would definitely say that Texas, and for the first time, I think in a long time too, Texas has depth at all positions. That was something because as the game went on, even though the Louisiana Cajuns had so many returning starters on both offense and defense, as the game went on, you could see where Texas started wearing on them, and then by the time the 3rd quarter came in the 4th quarter, the wearing and leaning on them led to like where they just started punishing them, and that's a big difference. And I think some of that was that the Texas players was able to rotate in and out, keep guys fresh. And so when the 3rd and 4th quarter came, they was able to show up. So those are my what I call my midterm or mid-winners, man. I think some of the losers, like I said, Tate, is definitely the ACC conference as a whole. I think Oklahoma was a big loser based on how they played. I think the loss and injury of Ibrahim, the running back of Minnesota, is hurting. And I think the Indiana Hoosiers all took a big lump too. What you think, man, as far as big losers?
I'm certainly on board with you as far as the ACC conference.
Yeah.
That North Carolina loss, that Clemson smashing, didn't look good. I'll be able to tell you after the night, depending on how Notre Dame and Florida State look, if one of them can actually stay undefeated and run the table and take that conference now, take advantage of blood in the water, basically. You know what I mean? And I don't dislike Clemson. I love to see Dabo Swinney lose. Dabo Swinney gets on my nerves.
I don't think you could be a true Buckeye fan and Dabo not just make you mad all the time, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But also I agree with you with Indiana, really down on them. And keep in mind, everybody, this is the first week. Don't mean none of these teams can't turn it around, but they just came out of the gate not looking like what we expected. And then with the running back from Minnesota, what's the prognosis on him?
Well, they haven't told us yet. I know he went in for X-rays and whatnot, but I went back and watched the replay like 50 times, man. And my daughter suffered an Achilles injury, and it was like when it looked like her calf exploded when the injury happened. She said she heard a pop, and so that's some of the things that's coming out right now about what they're saying. They said the guys on the field said they heard like it was like a gun exploded, like pow. you know. And then if you watch like where he planted, and it literally looked like his calf muscle exploded. So there's no prognosis as of yet, but I'm thinking that the kid, something's going on with his Achilles, man. I definitely think that's what's going on.
I saw him walking out in a boot, leaving the field in a boot. You know, well, if he's done, that's going to be tough on Minnesota. I don't think Minnesota was a big loser though, because they played a heck of a game against Ohio State. And you know, we got some people by being the leader talking about Ohio State look bad. I said, man, Minnesota was a good team. To exclude last year's COVID year, the year before that, they was like 11-3. They beat Auburn in the bowl game. Yeah, and they're and Coach Fleck is a good coach. They're on the up and up. Minnesota's a good team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, well, I think, and I'm being honest, if we could do it all over again, Minnesota would have had a top 25 ranking, man, preseason, man. What's Mod talking about? He said Tulsa's a good team, and like I said, there was a parity in college football. Indiana took an L, and NC hurt themselves. Ohio State looked decent. And I don't like the defensive backfield. We're gonna get to that whole thing.
You don't like the defensive backfield because they was missing 2 starters.
Yeah, exactly. But Tulsa, you know, the jury is out about how good Tulsa actually was. But I'm gonna tell you who didn't look good was Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler was supposed to be the runaway Heisman Trophy. Got everything under control, A, B, C, and D. Spencer Rattler threw 2 picks that game and should have had 2 more. I watched probably 2.5 quarters of the game, and there was 2 dropped interceptions that one of them would have been a pick 6. He threw an out like a 7-yard out, and the guy stepped right in front of the ball and it hit him in his chest and he dropped it. And I was like, oh my God, that was 6. So he should have threw 3, possibly 4 picks, and he looked like trash. So, you know, I'm saying that, you know, if you're the runaway Heisman Trophy, and I will say this about Oklahoma too, Oklahoma has not fixed their defense because Tulsa, there's no way. Me and Mod have a couple of other brothers. One of our brothers' name is Rod Jr., right? And me and him had this long conversation about how good Tulsa was. And I told him in the AAC with the conference they play in, they'll be fortunate to finish 3rd. The University of Alabama, Birmingham is going to pop them. University of Cincinnati is going to pop them. Memphis is going to pop them, and the University of Central Florida might pop them. So they're not definitely not in the top 2 or 3. They're not going to play in their conference championship game.
Hey man, I sat here and thought about I got another big loser.
Yeah,
this one's in the Big Ten.
Who is that?
Can you guess it in the Big Ten?
Michigan.
No, they won, man. They won nice. Illinois.
Yeah, they lost. Well, yeah, they lost to some scrubs yesterday,
they lost
man.
To University of Texas, San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, and you beat Nebraska week 1.
Then you beat Nebraska. But you know what? Brandon Peters played week 1. He got hurt, and he'll be back. So he didn't play yesterday. They had their backup quarterback in, but whoever the kid, Petrosky, I can't think of what his name is.
Yeah, his last name is Petrosky. Yeah,
he started 15 games at Rutgers. He's a transfer, so he should have the experience to be able to beat University of Texas at San Antonio.
Yeah.
At home in Champaign, Illinois.
Yeah.
That was disappointing to me, man. Just because I'm a Big Ten fan. So as strong as we think the Big Ten can look, you have stuff like that, man. That makes them not get the full respect they deserve.
Yeah. Because definitely there was teams that played that cross-conference thing, rivalry between other big-time schools or big-time conferences, and they look really good, like the University of Maryland, man. Tua's baby brother, man. That kid showed up and showed out, man, against West Virginia.
He played good, but even that game, I mean, West Virginia had 4 turnovers. Maryland didn't have any, and they only won by 6 points. So you figure those turnovers probably had everything to do with the win and the loss as far as who got which.
Yeah. But
Tua looked good, like you said.
Yeah, Tua, man, is he could be a dark horse. He could be a dark horse for best quarterback in the Big Ten at the end of the year. You know, to win first team all conference quarterback, I could definitely see that kid being a dark horse. based on their schedule too, because their hard games are towards the end. Like in the middle, after they get first 1 or 2 games, after like games 4, 5, 6, and 7, man, they play sort of Cupcake City. But then towards the end is where he's got to show up. So if this kid gets 6, 7, 8 starts up under his belt and he still is competitive and plays well, I could really see him, man, doing some serious stuff, man, or be competitive, for the Big Ten quarterback of the year in the conference, man.
I'm gonna put that in the Big G burner category. I mean,
unlike what people believe, Maryland always gives Ohio State a run. When have they not gave Ohio State a game? You tell me.
It won't be this year, but Big G, you got the Morgan for Minnesota looked good the other night.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just telling you the quarterbacks. You got the kid for Penn State. You got even though that was a defensive struggle, I still feel like he's a better quarterback right now than Baby Tua. And you got the quarterback Mertz. He had a bad game, but he's so these are the quarterbacks in the Big Ten that are higher tier than what Tua is now. But I know you like to give the people something they can be shocked by. So go ahead with your big G burners.
Yeah, for sure, man. I like that kid from Maryland. But the big thing is it's just one game, man. It's just one game. So to put it all into one game is just it's ridiculous, man. All right, so now let's get to it, Tate. What probably our audience has been waiting for as far as our grade for the Buckeye boys and what we saw out in the first game against the University of Minnesota, man. What you saying, man?
As far as the grade goes, man, as a total team performance, I'd probably give them a B. I wasn't impressed. It was a tough game against Minnesota. I feel like the defense was giving up too much in the run game. Now, as far as the secondary goes, two of their starters were hurt.
Yeah.
I feel like Stroud, CJ Stroud, had a decent game, but I'm sure he had a lot of nerves on it. This is his first time starting a college football game. He's a 19-year-old kid playing a hostile territory. So, I take all those things into consideration, man. So I understand that it's a work in progress, and you don't paint your masterpiece on your first try. So, I expect them to progressively get better over the season. They got a big test next week against Oregon. I think being at home, it'll be a big plus as far as them, taking care of business. If it was in Oregon, they look like they looked last week, I might be like, man, they really got to be on upset alert and handle their business. I think the home crowd being back in the shoe, because it hadn't been full shoe for a couple years now, getting that full shoe back.
Yeah.
Getting CJ Stroud another game, knowing what Travion Henderson can do out the backfield, get him the ball a little more. Yeah. Knowing what Olave and Garrett Wilson can do at the receiver position.
Yeah.
Man, so the whole game plan to me for Ohio State is, and I was talking to Sweet T about this, Sweet Lamar.
Yeah.
I said Ohio State just got to play defense. They got to establish the running game and take shots. All they got to do, because can't nobody stop Olave and Garrett Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah, and Jigba Smith too as well, number 11, the wide receiver.
Yeah, he's nice. Super nice.
Yeah, I think that with the loss of Cam Brown and Sevyn Banks, the starting corners for Ohio State hurt them hard. So if you add those two guys who probably going to start this week because they had little nagging injuries, and Harry Miller, the starting center for Ohio State, he was out as well. And so for y'all that are not like casual football fans and all whatever else, when you lose your starting center who's an all Big Ten performer and he's not there, that is a significant loss as having your quarterback not starting, because he calls all the signals, all the plays for the line, and how they should block or what they shouldn't do. The good thing out of that was that they, without Harry Miller in there, they still from an offensive standpoint dominated. And there was a couple of big surprises that I really like. Number one, Pork Chop Williams, man. 9 carries, 130 yards, a touchdown. I mean, come on, man. The kid has proven that he should be taking first-team snaps for Ohio State at running back. And there's nothing more to be said about TreVeyon Henderson than what we had already said going into it. TreVeyon Henderson is definitely the Saquon Barkley of Ohio State. This kid can get the ball anywhere on the field and score. If he catches it clean or he gets a clean look, anywhere on the field he can score. So he could be 90 out, he could be 95 out, and the kid could get it and go to the house. His burst.
Dude took one from 70 out when he got to the like inside the 20 of Minnesota, about to score a touchdown. He shot deuces up to him, like, you know, he was 20 yards out.
Yeah, and listen, he's 220 something pounds too, so he's not a little guy. You know, for y'all that want to know about really how this kid's put together. So TreVeyon Henderson definitely is, and I think Master Teague now. If for y'all that love Master Teague or think you're fans of Master Teague, I think Master Teague has to move to third in the depth chart, man. I think you cannot afford to mess around and just because out of loyalty keep giving this guy carries unless you're inside the 10-yard line and you just need him to bang up in there. I think in order for Ohio State, for C.J. Stroud to make the progression that we need him to make as a quarterback, he has to have a legitimate run game with him. And I think Porkchop Williams and TreVeyon Henderson fill those roles. Right.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, I think there's a role for Master Teague, though. Master Teague is a banger and a grinder, man. You know what I mean? He's not as explosive as neither one of those other guys you mentioned.
Yeah.
You know, Williams and Henderson. But you know, you want to just pound it up in there, soften up the defense to make it easier, make the defense softer for those two guys you mentioned that then can bang through there and take it to the house with the speed they got. That's not Master Teague's role. He's kind of like a sledgehammer that you're just gonna just start, you know, busting away at the rock on. Then when the rock ready to break, you might have to use one of the little ice picks to make it break.
Yeah.
You know, TreVeyon Henderson is that ice pick that's gonna take it to the house.
Yeah. Ma said Master Teague has had 2 years of it. So yeah, I mean, I understand, man, but you know, the deal is to say, to be honest, the depth that they have at that running back position, man. I mean, when they say the rich get richer, Ohio State definitely has those type things going on in certain positions.
They have depth at every position, man. It's not one position they don't have depth at. So I'm not amazed by that. It's like I said earlier about you know stacking recruiting classes and talent. Ohio State's been doing that for about 10 years, easy. That was just Urban Meyer came. I mean, Tressel got his type of players when he was there, and they was good. He coached them up. Yeah. But you know, they was playing like 20-17 games, winning ugly. You knew they weren't gonna be able to compete with the SEC back then. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just on speed alone and stuff like that. But he's a great coach. But when Urban Meyer came, you started getting A1 recruiting classes. Yeah. And it's continued on with Ryan Day.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I just think that the Ohio State, if any team has the ability or the depth or the chance to propel themselves into a team that can actually contend with Alabama, Ohio State still got to be one of those teams, man. Right? So that's just my take on the Buckeyes. But I do think, you know, this week we're going to see a different team with just the change of the two defensive backs. And I will say this, we got to get more out of our defensive ends. We have to get more out of them guys. Harrison made one really good play. But when you have two all-world freshmen that's sitting behind them, and Jack Sawyer and JTT, if these guys, Tyreek Smith and Harrison and Baptiste and them don't produce, hey, man, it's time to go with the babies, man. Look, because the babies is going to get to the quarterback. You know, and that's the difference that Ohio State has seen for years over the defense. The defensive ends normally that line up for Ohio State put the fear of God in the opposing teams that they play. If you don't have those guys that line up and scare you as far as a defensive end, then it's time to let the youngsters play, man. Because from a talent standpoint, they're the same.
At the end of the day, like I said, it's like a train building speed. It's progressive. So at the end of the day, the talent and pedigree throughout the unit is going to be what matters. You'll see the freshmen getting a lot more time, a lot more reps, but the seniors going to keep getting the reps too. The upperclassmen going to keep getting reps too. And at the end of the day, you want all that. You want all that depth and that talent to be able to pull from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Yep. So let me ask you this, Big G, before we change topics real quick. We got about 10, 15 minutes before we get out of here.
Yeah.
Right now, as of this week, first weekend being played, what's your top 5?
Bama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3. Woo. Bama 1, that's those 3 for sure. 4 and 5, it gets dicey. You know,
I agree with you 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I would say 4, maybe Penn State. Maybe Penn State.
They jumped way up from.
Yeah, they jumped way up.
From like 16 or 17, I think they was at.
Yeah,
no, I think Wisconsin was 12. Wisconsin was 12.
Yeah, I'd say Penn State. From what I'm saying, what I saw on the field, and that 5 position could go between Iowa State, maybe Oklahoma, maybe UCLA. From what I saw,
you jumping teams way up. I like the Penn State pick potentially because how they just that fight they had to show up there on the road in Camp Randall.
Yeah.
I think you're sleeping on Cincinnati though.
Well, okay, I'm gonna say this about the Bearcats, man.
Cincinnati
they play Miami of Ohio. They play Miami of Ohio, man. I mean,
you play on your schedule, Big G.
Right,
Illinois played Texas San Antonio and got popped.
Right, but see, I'm gonna say this about Cincinnati, man, and this is a shout out to my boy Tyler Johnston. Tyler, I went to junior college with Tyler Johnston at Waldorf College in Forest City, Iowa. His son is now the starting quarterback for the University of Alabama, Birmingham. And for y'all that didn't see him on opening night on Wednesday night, that kid can play quarterback. So I think Cincinnati's going to have to strap it up against UAB. You know, so we're going to see who Cincinnati is in 2 weeks, you know, which is for a lot of those teams over the next 2-3 weeks, we're going to really see what they are. But I'm not going to downplay Cincinnati. I just want to see when they have to play a team where they got to play.
You got to look at, okay, so before playing Miami of Ohio yesterday, who was Cincinnati's last game against?
Georgia.
And should they have won that game?
Yeah.
And you just put Georgia at number 2.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just saying.
Hey, do you see the comment of Ivory about Cincinnati Bearcats? Ivory, you're absolutely right, man. You know, it's who they play and when they play. You're for sure right with that. Ma said he's got Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Texas A&M. Nah, I ain't feeling. But Tate, I'm gonna give my top 5. 1 Alabama, 2 Georgia, 3 Ohio State, 4 Penn State, 5 UCLA. That's my top 5. Go ahead.
I like those picks just because when all those teams are good in college football, UCLA ain't been good in a minute.
Yeah.
Penn State just can't seem to win the big one because they keep running into that buzzsaw in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
So but I do like the pick. I go same top 3. Alabama, Georgia deserved to be moved up the way they handled Clemson last night without an offensive touchdown.
Yes.
Ohio State at 3. Oklahoma definitely falls out. Oklahoma probably fall like to 7 or 8 for real.
Yeah.
I like the way Penn State look. I like the way UCLA look. But I'm gonna go ahead and stick with Cincinnati to round the top 5. Throw them in there, and probably go with. I don't know. Come back to me in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah.
I need to see some more football.
Yeah, week 1 is a hard deal, man. But I'm just saying, as far as what we got on tape, But I'll definitely say by the end of week 2, we're gonna know what's what, man. But week 2, week 3, we really gonna know what's what. But I will say this feels like one of those seasons that it's gonna be crazy. And I really do believe that most teams, you go out to show up every week and strap up. Because if not, you're gonna be in trouble, man.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So that's our take on college football through week 1. Real quick, Big G, let's transition. Let's talk about this NFL upcoming opening week coming up this week. What games you got your eyes on and stuff like that? What you looking forward to?
Opening night, Dallas Cowboys versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to see what Dallas is really about. Can they hang with the champs? I'm gonna see, because I've had this talk with my son-in-law and with a couple of other family members that are Cowboy fans. Some of them don't want Dallas to necessarily win. They just want them to be very competitive. They'll be happy if the game is 28-24.
That's their excuse, Big G, because they probably know they're not going to win. So like even if you watch Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, Skip is already saying that's a loss. Our first game is against the Chargers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like I think that's what most Dallas fans are kind of thinking. They're not thinking they can go into Raymond James Stadium and beat Tom Brady on Super Bowl ring night. You know, Dak Prescott just coming back, and like they said, Dallas. I've been watching Hard Knocks. I know you have too. How they had the drone flying through the facility in Jerry World, and they said that's why Dallas can't win games, because them boys is soft. And I think I can't remember who said, they said, I'm not gonna say any grown man is soft, but they definitely pampered. So Dallas just I think they have some talent. I don't know that Mike McCarthy is the coach.
Yeah.
That they should have picked last year. So I anticipate them. I anticipate them losing by 14 points.
Yeah, I think they're going to hang for 3 quarters, but I think a loss of like Zach Martin, that because he's out because of COVID protocol, I think that's going to hurt him. But I think Dallas is going to hang for about 3 quarters. I think come middle of the third, going in the fourth quarter, you're going to see Tampa Bay pull away.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Ivory Austin says Dallas offense is capable, but the D going to have to step it up. I ain't no doubt about it. I mean, Dallas does have, from a performance standpoint, great running back, great quarterback, great wide receivers, pretty good offensive line. But the thing has been for years in Dallas, where's the D in Dallas? So, we're going to see, because Tom Brady can kill you with 12 personnel, 11 personnel, 3 tight ends. It don't matter. Tom Brady's going to eat. So that's definitely going to be a huge game. Right. I'll tell you the sneaky game, Tate. That's going to be like people need to pay attention to.
I'm just now listening. He said, "Ivory, that's the homie Spook. What's up, Spook?"
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, West Side, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hey, but the sneaky game, man, is the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Washington football team.
Hold on. Wait. You picked your games. Can I tell you my game?
Oh, for sure. I'm listening.
You just jumping in line, man. I want your thoughts about a particular game here, man. I want to know what you think. And I know they're a rival.
Yeah.
West Side up.
What's up, West Side? Yeah.
And I know they're a rival, but don't be a hater. Give me an honest assessment in the game with the Cleveland Browns and Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Honest assessment of Kansas City.
Whatever medication model, and I don't know what he's taking, but he goes crazy right there.
CeeDee Lamb and Zeke, both with 100. Okay. I'm going to say this, man. I think that if Kansas City, if Cleveland's defensive ends can frustrate Mahomes, if they can frustrate him, which that means, because Mahomes works better when he's off. He's on schedule, but he's off schedule. He can break the pocket. He can make an amazing throw, and everybody's just like, oh, my God, how do we stop this guy, right? So if they can, if Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett can frustrate Mahomes, the game is going to be very close. But if Mahomes is able to be Mahomes, which probably about 80% of the sports world thinks, I think Kansas City is gonna cause some real bad problems with them, man. And they're going to expose them for whatever weakness. If they have a weakness defensively, they're going to figure it out and expose it and put it on tape fast. So that's my take.
I think the Cleveland weakness as far as their defense is their linebacker unit. I like the kid JOK.
Yeah,
but he's small though. You know, he's a playmaker, but he's not a thumper. You know what I mean? I think it comes down to Cleveland. I mean, I really feel like Cleveland. It comes down to Baker Mayfield. I mean, and Mahomes, that they played in the AFC divisional playoffs last year, and Mahomes went out in the third quarter, and Baker had a chance to take Cleveland down with about 4 minutes left for the win, and he couldn't do it.
Right.
So it's really on what Baker does. I don't think, because if Baker does what he's supposed to do, it'll be a high scoring game. We're talking about 31-28 if Baker does what he's supposed to do.
Agreed.
If Baker does what he's supposed to do, it might be like 31-14 in Cleveland, because if they got to just lean on their running game, because you got to be able to pass the ball against Kansas City to keep up with Mahomes. Yeah.
Mahomes can hit you. Mahomes can hit you with a 4-play, 81-yard drive fast and be up, 7-0, and you mess around and punt to him, and he get it back in 5 plays, 78 yards, touchdown, and you're down 14-0 fast. That's definitely in his repertoire, right? I agree with Baker.
And that lack of the linebacker unit for Cleveland could make Travis Kelce a bigger problem if they don't have nobody that can stick with him.
Well, Ivory said Kansas City 34, Cleveland 25. I feel you, Ivory.
That's like a good prediction, because, like I said, you gotta be able to score 30 to beat Kansas City, probably.
Yeah.
Unless the defense really come to play and you hold them to 24. You know what I mean? But you still got to put 26 points up to beat Kansas City. I don't care how off they are.
Right. I'm interested to see the dynamic between Baker Mayfield and OBJ too, man. Because, that could make or break Cleveland too. If he starts forcing the ball to Beckham, man, it's going to be a long night, man. It's going to be a long night.
He got to be smarter to know to go back to that. And I would think Odell, that's a good score too. I would think Odell knows that the team played better when he wasn't there. So he just got to be a cog in the wheel, man. He got to come in, get in where he fit in, the occasional big play, because with that running game and with those weapons they have, he can hit him for a 56-yard touchdown. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that'll be his thing, like 4 catches, 80 yards. Because he's gonna have a big play, have a couple things across the middle, slants and stuff like that. But he's not gonna be getting 8-9 receptions a game though.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because when he doesn't get the ball, he goes into straight crybaby mode. And he's knocking the kicker's gate on the sideline. He's throwing his helmets. He's doing all kind of crazy stuff that's just a total distraction versus being a team player to try to win the whole thing, because potentially on paper.
Every take I give is a good take, buddy.
Hey, but Cleveland potentially on paper, man, like you said, we ain't seen it. They potentially could win it, man. They could.
So
but
you were saying about your other game. You can go ahead with your game now.
The sleeper game, man, is the Washington football team and the Los Angeles Chargers. That is a sleeper football game. It'll be a good football game to watch if you're a real good football fan. I think the Washington football team defensively going up against Justin Herbert, and we're really going to see what this kid is made of week 1. Was last year an anomaly, or is this kid really what they say? Because rookie quarterbacks don't come in and have the type of years that Justin Herbert had last year. So, and his offensive players, they were hurt for a lot of those games. Keenan Allen didn't get a chance to play a lot. God knows Austin Eckler was out for a lot. So he did a lot with little. So now let's see, year 2, was it the truth or was it hype? Was the truth or was it hype?
I think it'll be a good game, competitive game. I'm not I'm not rushing to change my because I'm out here in DC. So and
Right.
I got the NFL ticket. I got tired of watching the Washington football team. So
yeah.
I'm not rushing to turn my TV to Ryan Fitzpatrick, But I do think it's a good matchup of defenses. And like you said, Herbert gets Allen back healthy, at least in the beginning of the year. Mike Williams.
Yeah.
And I think the key pickup for them, they lost Hunter Henry, but they picked up Jared Cook.
Great tight end.
You're looking at Jared Cook, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. They got weapons. Austin Eckler out the backfield.
Yeah.
But Washington defense is a model. They're definitely a top 5 defense.
Yeah.
I think Chase Young has about 12 to 14 sacks this year.
Yeah.
I'm anticipating that. And I think and Gibson, the running back for the football team, is really good too.
Antonio,
so, I look for that to be a good matchup. It'll be a defensive struggle. If I'm picking right now, because it's here, because it'll be a defensive struggle, I probably pick the Washington football team 20-16.
Good call. All right, so Tate, the last thing I want to talk about. Let's call it. Let's see what our predictions look like. Which NFL quarterback is going to lead the NFL in passing the first week 1? What quarterback's going to have the biggest game? Most yards, most touchdowns. Who you calling?
Week 1? Just week 1.
Week 1.
I'm not even sure who they play, man. But just because I like him to put the ball in the air with the weapons he has, I'm gonna go Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray. Arizona plays Tennessee. They play at Tennessee week 1.
I'm still gonna go Kyler Murray.
All right. I'm gonna go with old faithful. I'm gonna go with Aaron Rodgers, man. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna light the New Orleans Saints up week 1. Just to show everybody, I think he's on prime time too. I mean, they play the 425 game, the Fox game. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna light it up, man. Light it up, man.
I mean, that ain't really one of your typical Big G burners where you step out there. That's like picking chalk. You know what I mean? You pick Aaron Rodgers, that's picking chalk.
Yeah.
But no, I get it though. I can see that. Couple things I wanted to ask you. One I want to talk about before we get out of here, man.
Yeah.
What's your take? First one is, what's your take on Cam Newton? Is he done?
As of now, yes. But just like I know as well as everybody else, there's going to be a significant injury at a quarterback position where a team feels that they have an opportunity to make the playoffs, and Cam's going to come up off the bench, man. I could see Cam. Tua goes down. I could see Cam down in Miami. I could see, maybe him over in Philadelphia if Jalen Hurts goes down. I could see, it just depends on, there's going to be a significant injury to one of these teams. Going to have a quarterback where it's going to get popped, and they don't have a guy behind him. Heck, if that goes down, I could see Dallas saying, "Hey, Cam, what's up, man?" I could definitely see that.
They probably should have picked him up. McCarthy said he didn't want him. But so your answer is he done or not done? What's your answer? You kind of took both sides of the fence.
Well, as of now, yes. I think he's done.
Now, has Cam Newton played his last down in the NFL period ever?
No, he's not played his last down. No.
Okay.
He'll play again. It'll be later this season.
Okay. And the other thing I want to ask you about, what's your thoughts? We're gonna jump to the NBA real quick. What's your thoughts on this whole Ben Simmons thing, man?
About him getting traded?
Yeah, about him not wanting to report to Cam, him not wanting to just from the time in the playoffs where he didn't take that shot to dunk that ball to where we are now with Ben Simmons. Like, what do you think about him as a player? What do you think his value is? Where do you think he goes? Just what do you think about the whole Ben Simmons saga?
I think that the Philadelphia 76ers would have done themselves justice when the trade was on the table where you could have traded Ben Simmons' head up for James Harden. But and when Philadelphia didn't trade,
you going pre-playoff series. That was last season. I said from the time he didn't take that dunk, and everything fell apart. Doc Rivers said, "I don't know if we can win without him." Joel Embiid taking taking, low key cryptic shots at him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Ben Simmons in his feelings and don't want to come back to Philly. What do you think?
Right. I'm saying that trade was the beginning of the end of all of this, right? And I think that trade not happening led to where we are right now with Ben Simmons. I think that Ben Simmons, now you could not get what people would consider market value or high trade value for him. I think you could not get a tier 2 or even tier 3 NBA player for Ben Simmons in a head-up trade right now. Not unless you're an organization like maybe the Golden State Warriors, which I've heard he's been tied to. But Golden State would give up Wiggins. They would give up one of the young rookies that they just drafted and a gang of picks because they said they feel that Simmons is an upgrade to Draymond Green. But I don't think that Ben Simmons naturally fits with any team because you have to build your team around him. And if he's the point guard and he can't shoot, I mean, come on, man. That's a problem. And I don't think he fits well with Philly. I would love to see Philly get off of that kid and get some shooters around MB because I think they have with MB a player that could carry them. That's just my take.
Let me tell you what I think. I like the assets. I like the assets. I agree with Anthony Price.
Yeah, for sure.
He's been one and out.
Yeah.
But I like the assets that Golden State can give with that trade you said. But the thing is, those young assets don't help Philly win now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So and Wiggins has never proved himself to be that guy. He just be thrown in. He's the defensive player. He be thrown in as a filler to make the salaries work.
Yeah.
So I think Philly, Daryl Morey, the GM in Philly, is gonna have to, like you said, he's not gonna get market value for what they perceive Ben Simmons to be worth because the NBA doesn't perceive him to be worth that.
Correct.
But I would build around him. You have to build around Ben Simmons, whoever takes him, like Milwaukee has built around Giannis over the years.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Giannis is not busting threes, but he'll take a three.
Yeah.
But because he's a defender, a rebounder, he can get to the rack and get points, get fouls, and all that stuff. So, I'm a Cleveland Cavalier fan, man.
Yeah.
I've been hearing stuff about, Cleveland's interested, and he's interested in going to Cleveland because he's good friends with Darius Garland, Rich Paul from Cleveland, both their agents and stuff like that. But Cleveland would probably have to give up Colin Sexton and probably Okoro and a future, at least one future one, maybe two future ones. Yeah. But I think that'd be worth it because then you're talking about having Allen, Evan Mobley, Ben Simmons, and Darius Garland.
Yeah.
But
hey, Anthony Price said to trade to the Wizards and build around him and Beals. I don't know if the Wizards got pieces, man, that the 76ers need. Man. I don't know about that.
If you the Wizards, you would trade Bill for Ben Simmons head up.
Oh, of course, but he's saying keep Bill and trade and keep Bill and Simmons and build around that team.
Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, I don't think he's got I don't think the Wizards got assets like that, man, to where Philly would jump on that.
I thought it said trade Simmons for Bill.
Trade to build around him and Beals.
Oh yeah, no. The Wizards don't have nobody that's gonna get them Ben Simmons if it ain't Bill.
I'll tell you a trade that I would like to see since we're on the whole thing about Ben Simmons. I would love to see Ben Simmons get traded to the Portland Trail Blazers. I think CJ McCullough with a couple of other pieces out of Portland to Philadelphia helps Philadelphia tremendously. And I think Ben Simmons with Dame helps Dame tremendously. Now, Dame's got a guy that could be a lockdown defender at the top, and it takes a lot of pressure off him. And I think
I would agree. I would agree. But the problem is Daryl Morey, Philly's GM, think Ben Simmons is worth a trade to Portland for Dame and not CJ. You know what I mean?
He'll never get Dame, man. Never in a million years would he get Dame Lillard. But a trade, that's the trade. I think the NBA would like that trade. I think the NBA would like that trade. I think it would do both markets well. And I think Philadelphia with CJ McCollum and a couple of other pieces based on what they did in the offseason around MB would definitely be able to give Milwaukee and Brooklyn a run. Because whether teams have not realized it or not, Brooklyn's done loaded up. Milwaukee's loaded up. Chicago is loaded up,
Philly would do good trading Ben Simmons for CJ and Norman Powell.
That great pick. That'd be a great trade.
You know what I mean? Because they're getting the offense they need. You know what I mean? They're getting some shooting, some scoring. Yep. And then I think Ben fits in Portland, going up there with Dame, with Chauncey Billups coming in as coach.
Yeah.
And they just got Larry Nance Jr. Then they would go to more of a defensive identity like Chauncey is used to from his time being in Detroit under Larry Brown.
Right.
So I'm really excited about the upcoming NBA season, man. It's a lot of moves been made. It's a lot of I think most people already got the Nets and the Lakers in the championship.
I mean, how could you not look at? I mean, if the Lakers were signing an all-time oldies but goodies squad, I mean, they got the oldies and goodies squad. But the thing about it is they got depth, and now you got a bunch of guys who are supposedly close to being at their pinnacle all the way down. They don't have to play a massive amount of minutes to win.
But that's what I'm saying, man. LeBron gonna be 37 this year.
Yeah,
and that's old, but it's LeBron, and we know what kind of 37-year-old shape LeBron is in. But AD is 28, Russ is 32. I mean, you got KD that's gonna be 32, and James Harden like 32. I mean, so to say that the Lakers is old and the Nets just signed Paul Millsap and bringing LaMarcus Aldridge back. No, all these jokers is old. So what you counting on is your depth and experience is going to get you through.
Yeah, that's
with the older players.
That's what I think that the two teams like Brooklyn and Los Angeles have done. They're like, okay, I'm going to have 13 guys on my roster, and if everybody can stay healthy, then we got a legitimate chance to win it. And it's crazy. Anthony Price just said that. He said the Lakers can't stay healthy. And that's to be determined, because the whole key for the LA Lakers is Anthony Davis.
That's the key. Anthony Davis can't stay healthy. I mean, LeBron, it was a freak injury. Somebody rolled up his high ankle sprain. But Russ always play. He there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I like some of the young pieces they got just to fill in time. You got Kendrick Nunn. They picked up the kid what's the
Tucker.
Kid?
Last name Tucker.
Take Taylor Horton Tucker. He good, but I'm thinking of the kid they just got from Charlotte. He played at Kentucky in college.
Not Mond. Two guard. I know you're talking about. I just can't call his name. I know exactly who he is.
Yeah, so they
Monk.
They got
Monk.
Monk. Yeah, you're right, Monk. So they got some young pieces to infuse in there to soak up some of the minutes from them veterans. I think Carmelo, he might not give you 20, because he won't play that much, but he's capable of giving you 20 if he comes in and plays 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So they just really need about 5 or 6 guys that can give you a legitimate 12 to 15 minutes on the floor and play with maximum effort, regardless of what their role is. From a Rajon Rondo to a Dwight Howard to a Carmelo Anthony. I mean, the Trevor Ariza's, these are the guys that they've signed. Yeah, so if you have
they picked up Dwight Howard. Yeah. And they talking about DeAndre Jordan getting bought out. He want to come to the Lakers too. So
he signed already. He signed a 1-year deal this morning.
Oh, well, see, they're gonna be able to throw big bodies at you too.
Yeah. DeAndre Jordan, he's a Laker officially.
They're gonna be able to play a lot of ways. But Big G, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap this up, because you know why I gotta go?
It's fantasy draft time, man.
We got that fancy draft tonight at 9:00, baby. And I'm picking a winner. You already know it.
We'll see. We'll see. For y'all that don't know, both myself, Tate, and Mod all have trophies in our fantasy football league. So those other guys that are playing our league, it's time to get your weight up, y'all. Where your trophies at?
Wait. Put some respect on my name. I don't have a trophy.
He's got 2, man. So
I got 2. Thank you.
Hey, so for y'all, for the KnoItAllz podcast, Please like and subscribe us, man. You know, we appreciate anybody that chimes in and views with us. Like us on Facebook, Snapchat, and all our other social medias.
Yeah,
for your boy Big G, for my boy Tate, and for our partner in crime, Missing in Action, Mon. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll check y'all next week.
Peace.